How does the scientific method work? Now that you're familiar with group characteristics, it's time to explore the research methods that psychologists use to study group dynamics. Modern science has been around for several hundred years. Up until about the 1500s, most people had relied on personal experience, folk wisdom, and religion to answer questions about the world and their lives. Then, the scientific method emerged as the primary means of gaining knowledge, especially in the natural sciences, like biology, chemistry, and physics. It wasn't long before social scientists, like those in psychology, began to use the same principles to test their theories about human behavior. The basic steps of this method are illustrated in this figure. We begin by asking a question about a group-related event, like why do people join cults? Or when do groups perform better than individuals? Or how do friend groups develop in adulthood? Then, we search the existing literature for partial answers to the question, and to learn as much as we can about the phenomenon and the context in which it occurs. Based on all this information, we develop a hypothesis or prediction about who, what, when, where, how, or why the event occurs. The next step is to operationalize or define the variables in our study. For example, how are we defining a cult? Or what does it mean to be a high-performing group? Then, we choose the most appropriate research method and design the procedures. We recruit participants and collect data, following our plan to a T. The last few steps are to analyze the data, draw conclusions about it, and report the results of our work in a public forum. This allows other researchers to replicate our study and either support or dispute our conclusions. Over time, this entire process allows the scientific community to build a base of tested knowledge about a particular phenomenon. These steps increase the likelihood that their conclusions are empirical and objective. Two important characteristics of science. Empirical observation follows precise, standardized rules, and it involves gathering information about the situation, information that is observable to anyone. Objectivity is the notion that the empirical observation is free of bias. That is, scholars strive to conduct studies that explain human behavior accurately and without influence from the researcher. Although they try to avoid bringing their personal views into their research, this goal is difficult to attain. But, by testing and retesting their hypotheses, they can be more confident in the evidence they produce.